All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us again at Edric Poon In Company, the podcast where everybody can inspire anybody. Now, this week we have a very, very special guest, as always. All right, previously I've known him from AirAsia, and now he's with EVOS Esports. Now, the dude has run his own businesses. He's done PR in the airline industry, and hell, now he's in esports. What can I say? Welcome to the show, Allan Phang. Please tell us a little bit more about what you do in EVOS Esports.
Oh, right now I'm the regional head of marketing and PR at EVOS Esports. For those who are not in the know, EVOS Esports is a esports team similar to your Manchester United or Liverpool per se, for example. And we take part in a lot of online and offline competitions in the esports world. So everything is done digitally, either through the phone or through the PC kind of thing. But we are more phone-based, mobile-based games. And right now, it's still very new in the esports world to many people, but it's really picking up ever since this pandemic happened. And yeah, so in a nutshell, it's like video game competitions that we participate in.
Fantastic, man. Now, I would really like to also find out what you can, how your journey actually began. First off, now, everybody can go into LinkedIn nowadays and take a look. But what was your entrepreneurial journey, that led you eventually to esports? This is pretty amazing to me.
Wow, yeah, it's quite a journey and story for me. Thanks, Edric, for asking. I first started off back like everyone else, you go through high school and then to college. I went to two colleges. First was in APIC, is Asia Pacific Institute of Information Technology. So you learn like computer stuff and all that computing. But I wasn't really good in computers back then. A lot of COBOL, C++, Java. I hate it, right? I had to go through it. Then I told my mom, no, I'm going to change to business marketing in another college called INTI. So I did it. And after a while, I realized that, hey, this studying thing, I always flunk my ad maths and accounts really bad lah. In the end, I told my mom, like, you know what, I'm going to like maybe start working. And I was exploring lah. So I actually am a college dropout back then.
Oh,
And everyone thinks like I completed my degree, diploma, etc. I just did foundation, but I kind of like set the benchmark of like getting to know people and communicating with people back then in college days. And one day I was at a paintball field near my house, and paintball was still very new back then, and played some paintball and somehow met a bunch of investors who wanted to do a paintball business, a lot of import-export distribution around Southeast Asia, including Singapore. And we distribute all the gears, I'm not sure, Edric, have you tried paintball?
oh yeah. Hey man, I pride myself on all the welts that I get from all that crap. We get all over the place, getting shot in the face, in the arms.
So yeah, I got involved in it. I was very young age back then, around early 20s. And they said, hey, Allan, why don't you join us? We're going to do a business. I'm like, what business? Import, export, selling equipments. And people buy these equipments not cheap, yeah? Can be from as low as 500 Sing dollars to as high as 3,000 Sing dollars, right? For the whole gear lah. So I was involved in it for about close to 10 years. And we did two companies. One is the import-export distribution business of all the equipments in paintball. The other was the international events that we did around Southeast Asia, including in Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Philippines. So we represented the Southeast Asia and Asia region for the paintball world. And we flew to places like the US and Europe to represent our country and region. Yeah, so it was good exposure over there back then. So after 10 years in paintball, on the 7th year, actually, Tony Fernandes, the owner and co-founder of AirAsia, the low-cost airlines in Southeast Asia, he came over to our shop. I'm like, whoa, wow, this is like a Richard Branson, of Asia, right? And he bought stuff for him and his son, paintball equipment, right? And I was like looking at him, hey, he has no bodyguard. Usually these millionaires, billionaires, they have bodyguards all around them, rich people, right?
Yeah.
He had no one. And then he was very humble. And he took part in our events. And then when I left, and I emailed him, hey, Tony, is there any job in AirAsia? Just wondering, and any opportunities available? He replied me within 7 minutes. Amazing, right? Seven
What?
minutes. He replied. Yeah. Early in the morning, I remember I sent to him an email about 10 a.m. in the morning, and he replied me within 10:07 a.m. I'm like, whoa, that is fast. Okay,
Super fast lah.
super fast for a person of his level. Busy guy, always on the handphone, and a lot of emails, messages flying about, WhatsApp, and all that. So yeah, I went for the interviews. Went through three interviews, and in the interview, right, this is very interesting. The person over there, the interviewer, asked me, "Allan, can I see your degree?" I'm like, sorry, I don't have a degree. Okay. Allan, can I see your diploma? I'm like, here's a piece of paper. Like, what paper is this? This offer to join the diploma course, but I didn't pass it because I failed my ad maths. Like, okay, and accounts. Never mind. Allan can see like O levels kind of set and all that. We call it SPM over here in Malaysia. They have a look at it like, oh, what is this? Oh, this is SAP. SAP means when you fail your O levels SPM equivalent, you get a SAP. Then like the person was like hung for a while, like stoning, like how in the end they still accepted me, thank God, and I got in. So, but they asked me an interesting question. Allan, you're a boss for 10 years, you joined this company, AirAsia is a big corporate company, 10 over 1,000 people. Now you got to call other people boss. Are you sure you're okay with it? I'm like, okay, just eat a humble pie, right? Just start from scratch.
Yeah,
My
why
first
not?
corporate job. Yeah. So it was my first job lah, working for people. Cause previous 10 years I was like boss kind of thing, right? Leader. So yeah, I joined the company. I did ancillary income department. Have you heard of ancillary income,
What is that?
Edric? So it's stuff like revenue generated derived from other sources aside to ticket sales. You have like baggage, your seats, your meals, your insurance, etc. So I was in charge of that project whereby I was doing all the pricing behind the scene. So when you book a ticket on AirAsia, when you buy all the other stuff, the baggage, meal, seat, I'm the dude doing the pricing. So for my job, I cannot do any mistake, and I hate numbers, right?
Yeah.
I was doing that. So if you do one digit wrong, it's going to affect the whole company. It can run into millions of dollars. So a lot of testing being done, and then before it goes live, you can't make a mistake. So really not easy job, but I managed to pull through. So after 6 months doing that, one day my boss came out from a meeting room and said that, Allan, you're going to Philippines next week. I'm like, what?
Huh?
You're going to
So
Manila?
how long were you in the job, and then all of a sudden you throw into Philippines
Yeah.
already?
Yeah, 6 months in the job, right? And then it's like, you're going Philippines, Manila next week. I'm like, next week, you're going based there for 6 months doing regional marketing. I'm like, what? Okay. So I went over there, did regional marketing, helping out the local team as well in marketing. And after 6 months, came back to KL, Malaysia for a bit. And then another time, my boss asked me, Allan, can you come here for a bit? He went for a meeting. Allan, can you go to India next week? Like, India, Bangalore, doing regional marketing as well. Because I feel I got along well with people, and my boss was like, hey, you can get along with a lot of different people from different cultures, cross-cultural work. So I went over there for 6 months, and then after that came back to KL. Then I did partnerships and business development for 2 years, dealing with people like Uber, Grab, the telcos, banks, etc. So after 2 years doing that, I went to corporate culture. Corporate culture is like your HR stuff, making your colleagues, your staff happy, employee engagement. After 6 months to 8 months doing corporate culture, I went to employee engagement and internal branding. And that's the interesting part. From there, I bumped to esports. So yeah, my journey has been quite interesting, lah,
No,
if I may say.
this is very, very amazing. Like in the corporate culture, right, of AirAsia, is it very normal to just bounce around? And here's the thing, you yourself, just now you mentioned that Tony Fernandes was the one who came up to you and, hey, dude, you want a job? Right? Or basically
Oh
was saying
yeah,
he's interested in your skill sets, right? And he's
right.
that kind of person, is he?
Yes, that's right. Like what you read in the media, he's very hands-on. He follows his gut feeling. Yeah, he's not just like show me your paper first, then we talk. He's not that type. Yeah, he
Well,
engages with you. He talks to you
right. So,
because not many people know he used to be from that era. So he used to be a guy next door from the music scene in Warner. Yeah,
oh, Okay. And one of the things is I would like to also ask, right, in that in your perspective now, being from AirAsia and also being a boss of your own, how did this actually exhibit, let's say, for example, a certain positive company culture that you might be keen on sharing?
Yeah, I actually managed to thrive in that environment simply because AirAsia empowered you to, do your own projects as also, and also take charge of projects. It's not just follow processes A to Z. You're allowed to innovate and also make things better.
Mm.
So they're very open to that. So also another thing is, yeah, they allow me to jump around, which is very normal corporate companies. So AirAsia don't consider it just an airline. It's like one big giant startup, you know. So that's how Tony always envisions it, because he says if you're so corporate, right, then everything you're just gonna be like your competitors in the legacy airlines, Yeah.
No wonder. And it's so cool that,
Mm,
that he is like that. But I would assume that people like,
mm.
Tony Fernandes will also have a certain immense kind of an aura or a feel. I mean, do you know when he's walking into a room?
Yeah, for sure. He'll go walking around the office, then he'll just barge into a random meeting room. Then everyone's like, "Oh wow, Tony is here!" Middle of a meeting with vendors, etc. Yeah, he's a very cool guy, very down to earth lah. He's not your, kind of boss on the air always. Even though he
Mm.
works in the airline, right? So, yeah. One thing I realized that AirAsia allows is the ability and flexibility to change departments. Some companies, if you do accounts, you're there for life, lah, doing finance, for example. We have finance people who are now like the official photographer for the company. So yeah, of course, he realized that's his passion, photography, he likes taking photos. So he applied for the job as an official photographer, in-house photographer.
Mm. So would it be right to say also like in this day and age, especially with all this digital pivoting and digital transformation that everybody's going through, um, it's normal in AirAsia for you to have two hats, three hats.
That's right. Yeah, we wear multiple hats, and even the news came out recently. They are pivoting towards digital also, like
Yeah.
being a super app. Even though it's my ex company, but I do follow. I still have a lot of friends in there, so it's very interesting to see that they are changing with times as well, not just an airline.
Right. Your roots run deep, lah. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why in EVOS also they realized the potential, the values I carry. So
Mm.
that helped me as well because they want more corporate professional people also in a startup like EVOS.
Right.
Yeah.
And when now, great that you mentioned EVOS because I would, in order for you to get into a gaming company or a gaming team, first off, do you game yourself?
Yeah, I used to game a lot back then. College days lah. We
What?
call it CS 1.6,
CS.
CS:GO. Yeah. Do you play,
Of course,
Edric?
back then Counter Strike was the shit. We would play Counter
Yeah.
Strike.
Yeah.
I mean, this was like in the days whereby you would skip school, just go to a LAN cafe just to go
Yeah.
play. And
Yeah.
it so happened that there's also billiards and all sorts of other things over there that you could enjoy, lah.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, you're using a gaming chair now. I can see
Oh
a
yeah,
secret
it's
lab chair.
comfortable, right?
Yeah. So just to share a bit in AirAsia how we got involved in esports, because it's kind of an interesting story also. I like to share. So a big company, a corporate company like AirAsia, they won't simply just get involved in something new. Esports is something new, right?
Mm.
And I myself didn't even know that term esports. I've heard of gaming and all that. I used to play Red Alert, Command and Conquer,
Oh,
StarCraft 1. Yeah. Classic games lah,
oh, the
classic.
best.
Yeah, but when I joined AirAsia, I had no idea, even throughout my paintball days, about this term esports, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So one day a pilot came up to me in 2017, like, "Hey, Allan, Tony knows about esports." I'm like, "What the heck's that?" I thought some gambling thing or something dodgy lah. And then it says
Like
like,
esports
so I don't
betting,
care. Yeah, whatever. I don't know what doesn't sound normal to me. Like, I'm not exposed to it. Then he said like, "Allan, Tony knows about Twitch." I'm like, "You know Twitch, Edric?"
Hmm.
Yeah. So I didn't know, man. Back then, I'm like, what alien language is this? So I go Google. How come my boss knows so much? Go Google. Then saw the results. Like, wow, Twitch is a company that Amazon bought close to $1 billion US back in 2014. I'm like, I didn't know this. Have I been living under a rock? And then I saw the stats about, oh, Twitch is actually a live streaming platform that people can live stream their games, etc., in real life. And then I realized that esports is a big industry, close to $1 billion. Like, how come no one in Asia talks about it or wants to engage the community? So I did a lot of deep dive, go to a lot of events myself on my own free time, hustle lah. And after 6 p.m., always go and meet the community, go on Facebook, dig out the names, who is who in the industry, meet out with them, go for coffee, and find out more and get all the data, collected it, and presented it in a way that my management can understand. And it wasn't just about data because, right, in corporate companies, the decision makers, sometimes the C-suite or head of marketing or branding, sometimes they're scared to do something they're not used to. Like if the person plays football, then they can understand. Football is as such, can't go wrong. The ball is always round, right? So in esports, there's so many various, a lot of moving parts. So I did something which I used to do from paintball days. I did a jersey. So this jersey has your name, for example, Edric behind, yeah, like a football jersey. So I did an esports jersey with a big AirAsia logo and the sister company's logo. I spent about 1,000 Sing dollars. Yeah, 1,000 Sing dollars.
Mm.
So one jersey is about 10 Sing. Gave it to all the C-suite executive branding marketing folks. 100 pieces I printed out and gave to Tony as well. So when Tony has it, he takes a photo. It's like, okay, you got your chop there, approve, something like that lah. And next day, his other co-founder, Dato Kamarudin, called me up. He's like, hey, Allan, where's my jersey? I'm like, what jersey? The one you give to Tony yesterday. I'm like, oh shit, you give one boss, you better give the other boss. So I already stand by and prepare it because he thought it's a company thing, company initiative. He didn't realize it's actually a own initiative. And I actually went to his house, drove to his house and gave it to him. I was at his place from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Then his son was like looking at me, taking out the jersey, like, wow, Allan, your department has a big budget, huh? I'm like, what big budget? It's my own money, Allan Phang Private Limited. They're like, huh? Your own money? Claim, cannot claim. It's not under any company budget, But I wanted to invest in this because I believe I saw the opportunity. And before I left at 3 a.m., his son, Ikhlas, told Dr. Kamardin, Dad, like, what? This is Allan's own money. He's like, what? Are you crazy? How much you spend, Allan? Come. And I said, cannot claim back, lah. He said, claim under company. He said, never mind, you claim under my budget, executive chairman budget of AirAsia. Like, oh, like, hallelujah moment. Big deal, big deal. So yeah, after that, our company embraced it. We started to sponsor Alibaba's esports event called WESG by Ali Sports and by an Angry Mind. And after that, we sponsored a Dota team in Southeast Asia called Mineski. And after that, we had our own Mobile Legends team for a while. Yeah, so things just went a domino effect. Unheard of, it became a global case study. After that, I got invited to a lot of esports conferences in the US, University of California, Irvine, Hollywood, Miami, esports bar, even in South Korea, Europe, in France. It was crazy. It became a global thing, because apparently not many corporate companies do it that way. Most corporate companies just look at a proposal, a deck, right? They get it. Okay, see the numbers. Okay, go. Or some will just throw it away because they don't know what is esports. They don't understand. So I feel there's a lot of education going in, even internally within the companies. Yeah.
Thanks so much for sharing all of that, man. I mean, I completely agree with you. It's very difficult to get your ideas through in a certain corporate culture, but it's amazing that it's become so fluid, and that fluidity is actually what helps the company to grow. As long as you have a clear direction, what you need to do, the rest of it, right, somehow or other, the people that you trust will be able to do that. Do you think that would be right to say for all the entrepreneurs out there building their
Yeah.
teams?
That's right. So I acted kind of like a intrapreneur within the company. Yeah.
Oh, I like that
So I
term,
was,
entrepreneur. Yeah, we need a lot more of
yeah.
those actually.
hmm So I was thankful that both bosses, they embraced it, and I had a meeting with them, and they said, "Okay, Allan, go run with the project, get it done." So I'm like, "Okay, cool."
Right.
Yeah.
What's your definition of an entrepreneur? Just for sharing sake.
Sure. So for entrepreneur is someone who's allowed to operate as an entrepreneur would, but within the confines and within the parameters and within the areas of scope, nature of work, without going out of bounds within the company's boundaries. Yeah. So
Okay.
you're allowed to like operate within a circle. So I managed to like work closely with our branding team, our marketing team, our social media team. So I get to utilize the resources that the company already has. So it's not like a high risk thing where, oh, you got to apply for a few $1 million project kind of thing, you know? You're utilizing current assets that the company already is using.
Right. And when, let's say, for example, you had this new idea to go forward first, right? How did you go forward? Did you firstly ask, look, this is the budget that I need to go with this? Or like what you mentioned, I mean, not everybody's going to be able to throw that $1,000 out just to get things kick-started, you know?
Yeah. So I took the ideas from the esports community. They said, Alan, why don't you do your own esports team internally? So, you know, like a lot of corporate companies has their futsal team, badminton team, etc. Or even as recreational activity. So we form a AirAsia All Stars Esports Club. So we started with 10 members and we went viral also because we have some competition going on, right? So like, okay, let's send our team there. So before COVID era, we sent our team on ground. We had two teams. We brought the air stewardess there as well. Everyone like, wow, I got air stewardess. You know, it's a big deal lah. There's no esports event with air stewardess per se, right? Got permission from the organizer. So it's like branding. You got your esports team there, all geared up, and then you got the air stewardess there next to them. So even the esports community, they talk about it like, wow, big name like AirAsia is involved in esports. It went viral globally. Got picked up by the media, and after that, Azure management saw the potential and decided like, okay, let's get involved. But of course, it wasn't an easy process. Even though we got the higher ups approval, you still need to have talks and get buy-in from the middle management. So I actually talked to those who've been in a company for like 10 years, etc. Like, hey, what do you think if we propose to Azure this? What would Azure say? You know, the management. Or you got to make sure the ROI, the KPI, etc.
Mm.
Yeah, so I went through all the whole process. It's not so straightforward like get it done, get it done. You still need to do your homework.
Yeah. So the thing is that, when we're talking about all of this, we all know it sounds like such a rosy picture, that everything is so easy, yeah? Like everything is so smooth. But fact of the
Oh
matter is that
man.
during this entire journey of you building up, I would say, esports initiative, what were those like really, really down points? Because it's a brand new thing for you, right? And you're venturing into the dark. So what was it that was really, really difficult during that time to make it work?
I think some people thought I was crazy lah. Hey, this Alan has nothing better to do. Why is he getting involved in games, you know? And of course, some people from HR or some certain bosses who are more, I don't want to offend anyone, who are more senior or not exposed to it, they were like, why is our staff encouraged to play games? You know what I mean? It's because they couldn't brain it, you know. You're paid to work, but it's the same form, like playing badminton or football, etc. The thing is because they see the stigma, you know, they come from a different generation that, oh, gaming inside the arcade, smelly place, inside the cyber cafe, you know, it's all dark, a lot of bad hats, bad people. So gaming back then was attached to a lot of stigma. So that comes a process where education needs to come in and play a part in educating that this is a big thing. Azure should get involved. Don't get left behind. We're always open to try things. If it doesn't work out, it's all right. At least we tried. So yeah,
And when you mentioned about the education, this was an internal stakeholder thing, right?
internal stakeholder, I had to like go department to department to explain what is this esports about, why should Azure get involved, that kind of thing. I can't go around just saying that, hey, you know what, big boss approved already, go for it. Cannot. I'll get even more hated.
Yeah. So
Simply,
how did you go about doing that? Because managing up is one thing, but managing peers and managing below as well, is also another challenge. What about those who like say that, yeah, this one bullshit, it's not gonna work, ah.
yeah, for sure I get that, man. So it's normal. It's just a matter of like being mentally strong and keeping focus and like okay, avoid the noise. Don't ignore the noise. Sorry. Yeah, it's normal. Any new project you want to initiate, sometimes there might be backlash or people don't really understand because they don't spend hours doing the research that I did. And I saw the potential. I was invited by like Riot Games, all these big publishers, Blizzard to attend their events, And surprisingly, like I went to a esports event, League of Legends event in Taiwan by Riot Games. And I was at the VIP area and I bumped into Singapore officials there, right? The government officials from the youth department. I'm like, hey, what is Singapore officials doing here? There's no other government officials there except from Singapore. I'm like, wow, these guys are really advanced, man. You guys are advanced. And you all did a big event in Hyperplay with MTV
Right.
back in 2018, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. There was that as well. But sad to say, reality of it is, it sounds great, but the esports community in Singapore really needs to grow further. The
Oh,
big
yeah.
money, we all know. I mean, like what you said, doing the study is important. The big money in esports comes from a lot of viewership. And
That's right.
a lot of the time the advertising revenue is massive, but it's very hard to justify that with a country with only X million people.
Mm.
We're very, very,
I
very,
get.
very small. So viewership is too little, and that's why advertising revenue is quite tough on our end.
Yeah. I had this discussion, interestingly enough, I had this discussion with a lot of Singapore esports community folks. And you're right. I think good and bad lah. Because Singapore, your internet bandwidth is so powerful and so fast, the Wi-Fi, right? So all the gamers are like comfortable at home. Why do I need to go to a LAN cafe, for example,
Mm,
So everyone's playing online. They are all supportive, but depends on which event. Some events you see a lot of Singaporeans coming out, some events not so much. So I guess it's a give and take. If the Singapore esports community is more aggressive and active, just like in Thailand or Indonesia, for example, they're really like hardcore, They'll paint their faces like a hardcore fanatic. They buy the jerseys, they go out together in big groups. I see there's a lot of potential for Singapore. Small country, easier to manage and
yeah.
easier to meet up actually. I guess after COVID, who knows, maybe you can be part of an initiative over there,
Why not?
spur
Why
things
not?
up.
I'm more than happy to
Ah,
to to just get my hands dirty and in all these kind of things. I mean, look, let's put it this way. Okay, we've got a lot of other things going on. With all those references that we make. And it helps us to grow. I think games was a huge part of that childhood lah.
right. Yeah. There's a lot of opportunity because the connection is really good, the Wi-Fi in Singapore. So anyone can play around the parks and all that also.
Yeah, but
A lot of
apparently,
cafes
yeah,
is
but apparently my internet calls are still choppy. I don't know why.
yeah, we'll figure that out.
Yeah, I gotta do that, man. So, one more thing I would also like to ask, right? During your transition, so to speak, right, into from the AirAsia esports side into EVOS. Now, what were the things that you just totally didn't expect to see?
Oh, I didn't expect the pandemic to hit so hard that the airlines industry is affected. So I guess I left at the right time. It
Yeah.
was interesting, People say like, Allan, you're at the top of your career in AirAsia, You get to travel around, represent the company. Why are you leaving? People say Allan crazy already, I get that a lot. And then this pandemic is about to happen, started in China, it's spreading around the world. Why is Allan going to per se another company, job security, etc. And I just felt it was time to try something new. So I wasn't more about the pay; it was more about the experience. And I saw the potential of esports. Like once you taste it, right, the esports, you're like, oh, you get addicted to it in a good way, lah. And because you see the potential also, every time reading the results, the projections, the data, the numbers. So yeah, I made it. So I made a move, and surprisingly enough, the COVID lockdown happened, and the airlines industry is badly affected now. As we speak, came out news yesterday. I think AirAsia is going to retrench another second round. So thank God I left at the right time to explore the interest that I'm in. Yeah, and EVOS, I flew over to Thailand before the lockdown to meet up with Ivan, the CEO and co-founder of EVOS.
Mm.
And it was quite a cool interview. Chill out, wanted to know me better, and yeah, I got the job. Came back and decided to make the jump, a leap of faith, yeah, from corporate world to startup world per se.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I haven't done PR before per se, so I learn on the move, learn on the go. Because in the esports world, it's totally new. It's very nascent. It's just like English Premier League 100 years ago.
Mm.
Esports is there now 100 years ago. It's not there yet, like broadcasting rights in the millions, just like football and other traditional sports. But it's there. There's a lot of opportunity for growth. And whoever who wants to be part of the industry, there's a lot of job opportunities. You can go on LinkedIn, you can have a look, like for Singapore or Malaysia or Thailand, Indonesia. Yeah, some companies are massively hiring because there's a lot of room for growth, and it's just going to get bigger, in my personal opinion.
Okay, whoever's listening out there, you heard it for yourself. Okay, if you need a job, please go look into LinkedIn and search for esports. You're bound to get something. Okay, Edric Poon
Job.
cares. Okay.
Allan Phang has to.
So, hey, about esports, one more thing is that I love the fact, right, that mainstream pop culture is really, really mixing in to this whole thing. I mean, League of Legends had it, right, and now
Yeah.
PUBG was running it for quite a while as well, and now even what's that K-pop girl group?
Blackpink.
Blackpink, right? Is
Yeah.
which one are they with now?
They're with PUBG, and then BTS with Fortnite.
So how does a game like PUBG approach a girl group and say that, hey, I want you on my cover? What is the purpose? I mean, give me the angle on this, man.
Very interesting. It actually, I think, started off quite some time with Fortnite. Ninja is a very famous
Yeah,
streamer
Ninja.
from US. Yeah. So Tyler Blevins is his real name, and he partnered up with a superstar musician called Drake, Drake, a rapper, and it just blew up over there. And then I guess the esports and gaming industry saw the potential, like, oh wow, the merging between music and esports coming together and gaming, right? And both demographics are overlapping it, and they saw the potential, and that's when you start seeing people like Blackpink, BTS coming in the scene. It's cross-cultural shifts. So both get best of both worlds. The esports gaming side get to immerse themselves in music, and the music side get a bunch of new fans from the gaming and esports community. And even in Fortnite, you can see them pivoting and having music live concert experience while playing the game of Fortnite. Have you played Fortnite, Edric?
Yes, I have. Fortnite was, and I'm sorry, but I just suck at it so bad. Like I just ended
Okay.
up building myself in. I didn't know how to get out. So bad.
So for me, right, when I wanted to know because Fortnite was blowing up like last year and even 2018. I'm like, what's this game about? I mean, I've played Real Alert and CS:GO and all that, right?
It's just
But just
different,
wanted to
man.
find out. Yeah. So when I play, right, and then I realized, oh, this is the secret. So back then, for those of you who are above 30 or 40, that's around my age, right? You will realize that I used to come from a Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse era. You watch these cartoons in front of the TV, but these cartoons don't interact with you and you cannot interact with other people. So imagine you're inside a Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse cartoon, and you can interact with others, and these Donald Ducks, Mickey Mouse, 100 of them can talk back to you also, and you can make movements, So it's very interactive, and no one experience is the same. It's unpredictable. Every game is different. It's not like Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, one way. You just see, but you cannot interact. So like, wow, it's so immersive, and that's why kids love it, especially, right?
Right.
Kind of like pop culture. And when you play the game, then Fortnite pivoted and put in like Drake, the 3D image illusion in the game. So imagine playing halfway, then you can go attend a live concert with your friends. So imagine me and Edric dressed in our Fortnite characters enjoying a concert, and then we
Right.
can jump around.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
this concept of I mean, it started off with the MMO genre, I think. You know, with that whole group of people actually having gatherings and
Oh yeah, yeah.
even attending things like recitals and even funerals to some extent, right?
Mm,
On
that's right.
MMOs, and of course the Minecraft community has their own thing as well, going on for all of
Hmm.
that. But it is pretty amazing to see what opportunities are now available, within this digital space, and it can only grow bigger, right? But do you think that there will come a point in time, right, whereby this bubble is going to be way too full in esports?
I think it's not there yet. You kind of see it happening. Just to be transparent, not many esports teams are making money. I mean, you see a lot of investments coming in. Wow, Series A, B, C not yet lah. Series A, Series B. a lot of hot money going in.
Mm.
At one time there was an intersection between blockchain money with esports also, right? Everything once is a hot topic, but kind of died down. So esports is a long tail play in the next 5 or 10 years investment. It's not like, oh, you invest now and then you get back your returns in 1 year's time. It doesn't happen that way, because it's about brand building. This stage is still very new. So imagine like people investing, hoping they will get the next Manchester United or Liverpool per se, or even the next English Premier League per se. The investment and the opportunity,
I see.
and yeah, that's where people are going. Yeah,
Okay.
even now to have a slot in a Mobile Legends, a mobile game in Indonesia, for example, they have a league, right? A Mobile Legends professional league,
It's flooded.
and to have a slot in there, right, is about $1 million US.
Just to
Yeah,
have a slot, you got to pay $1 million.
yeah, in for a Mobile Legends slot,
Wow.
right? Yeah.
Okay.
And other countries like in the US, all League of Legends, the slot there is like 20 over million US, crazy amounts, right? So all these sports properties from traditional sports see the opportunity like, oh wow, our future audience is no longer going to be watching us; it's going to be watching esports. So they are also transitioning and also investing in it. Even a lot of artists, musicians also, no? Like Jennifer Lopez and all that, they also see the potential, In future, the next generation is not going to remember their names anymore. They're going to remember the next generation of artists, which are these esports gamers. Even parents, last time you asked your kid, what you want to be when you grow up? 10 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe you want to be a police, doctor, engineer, lawyer. Nowadays, mom, I want to be a YouTuber.
Everybody wants that YouTube money.
Yeah.
It
And
sounds like it's easy money though,
it sounds like it's
but it's
actually a
not.
lot of work. Yeah. I mean, like even like Facebook, YouTube, all these live stream platforms, they are putting in loads of investments to capture the audience, user growth, etc. So that's where these YouTubers and Facebook gaming creators, content creators, are earning the big bucks. They can earn as much as 1,000 Sing to even uh, 15, 20,000 Sing dollars a month. Yeah,
Right.
depending on your region and numbers, your reach, etc.
Do you work with the athletes to build their own personal brand? I mean, I love what One FC is doing with their fighters, and
Hmm.
now they're going into esports as well, as you know. But
Yeah,
what
yeah.
one thing that One has is that they build their athletes to also be able to succeed and see some sort of media success or involvement even after the fighting career is over. Now, is there such a plan for esports, and do you think that's really doable or not? First of all.
I feel it is doable. Like nowadays, esports athletes, we grill them through like media training, etc. How to talk in front of a camera, how your body language needs to react, how you need to talk to a journalist, things to say, things not to say, etc. Don't dig your nose in front of the camera or your ears, for example. Yeah, basics are, because you know why these esports superstars, they are quite young. They are not like matured adult like 30, 40 years old. An average esport athlete can be as young as 20 years old to average age 25 or even younger these days. So you're bringing young people into the scene and they're not trained yet or have that kind of exposure. Definitely a lot of opportunities for people in personal branding space to help them out across the world. Yeah, and definitely whatever One Esports is doing is great, and we're also doing the same as well to embrace our athletes, our esports KOLs, influencers, gamers, talents, and give them exposure in the media as well.
Do you think that we'll ever see a veteran esports league?
I think it's gonna come soon, because I'm not sure. Somewhere I read there's a grandfather's team or grandmother's team. They are like really all white haired, silver haired people, and they have their own team.
Yeah, all the
Yeah, I'm sure in the
grannies and,
future.
and, and grandfathers. Some of them are really badass. You see the way that they play
Yeah,
Black Ops. I think they're playing
yeah,
COD. Wow, they're
uh-huh.
crazy. The way they play, damn good.
And yeah,
It's
so
like,
maybe you can have one of above 40,
yeah, I
above
think.
40
Hey,
league.
did you know that there's still some people playing Quake at this point in time?
Oh wow! I mean,
Yeah,
I used to
they,
play Quake,
they
man.
still
It
play
was
Quake.
fun.
They still play Portal. These are super
Wow.
old school games. Yeah. On I mean, on my end, seriously, man, just to get into newer games like Spellbreak and wow, I don't know what other FPSs are
Hello?
out there, but I just can't keep up. And the veterans are just like doing it super super well. So big
Yeah.
ups to these
There's so many
guys, man.
games. Yeah. I mean, like, even for those who don't know, Dota is a game like 5 versus 5.
Yep,
It's like on a map kind of thing.
the original
And
MOBA.
yeah, mobile is a multi-online battle arena. So it's like a online game, like chess lah, but it's like 5D chess, right?
Mm.
And the prize money for those kind of international events called the international now is over 34 million US dollars already. The prize money, yeah, it's crazy. Of course, not everyone wins it. Only the best of the best. But esports has went to that kind of level, and the prize money, surprisingly, 90% of it is contributed by the fans. Unheard of in traditional sports. Traditional sports, you got to banking on the sponsors, etc. But in esports, like TI, the international Dota 2, 90% of the prize money comes from the fans. And how the mechanics work, the business behind it is Valve, the owner of the game, the
Mm.
publisher, they release a digital in-game item, like example, 3 months before the event. And then fans
So
can
what could they
purchase.
purchase again? I think there was a bit of a drop.
It's an in-game. They can purchase an in-game digital item, so it's like an avatar kind of thing, Yeah,
Nice,
it's a
nice.
big deal nowadays. Kids, right? They don't ask their parents to go to Toys R Us or buy them toys anymore. Yeah, it's like, give me your credit card. Like, what for? I want to buy a digital item in the game, for Mobile Legends or PUBG Mobile. They don't want to buy any more Barbie doll or whatever. Yeah,
True, true, true. Now,
times have changed.
all right. I mean, from the words of a parent, I would say, yes, in-game currency can sometimes be the bane of society and to our credit cards as well.
Yeah.
But to keep the industry moving, I think it's still important to keep this going, lah. At the same time, right? I On your end, I think in terms of professional advice, for anybody who wanted to join the esports profession, be it on the athlete side or on the corporate side of things, what would you actually want to share?
For those who are interested to join the esports industry, there's a lot of potential. Like we mentioned earlier, go on LinkedIn, have a look. Maybe someone is not even on the LinkedIn. You can check the game developers website, etc. Not just esports as in the player itself. There's a whole ecosystem behind it. You have like my role is marketing PR. There's people looking for social media managers. There are people hunting for content creators, as in the graphic designer doing the artwork, or the videographer, or the video editor. So many roles out there, very dynamic. Just imagine a company with all relevant departments, finance. You can even potentially create your own role in an esports company. It can be from either an esports team or esports event organizer, or even right to the owner of the game, like Riot Games. They have an office in Singapore. Must be the professional player kind of thing. No, it's not true. As long as you like gaming, yeah, definitely keep your options open. Can join a esports or gaming or game developer organization.
Okay, okay. I think we're definitely gonna have a quick chat, in the future of esports one of these days. I mean, it sounds really interesting, and it's definitely. I
It's
wonder how I
about to
can get my
announce
hands into that as well.
yeah, and we're gonna raise Series B soon. So a
Hmm.
lot of opportunities available. We're talking about the new generation. If 10 years ago you tell your parents that, hey mom, dad, I want to lend my car out to do a Uber Grab, to fetch people around and earn money. People say you're crazy lah. But now things have changed, right? It's really moving that direction.
Yeah.
And same, so parents from the previous era think that it's still just play for fun. They don't realize the potential. Yeah, so it takes a lot of education.
Indeed, indeed. And I think we're in that phase right now, lah. And what are the big companies looking for when
Hello?
they look into esports?
Hmm. I guess my mom, right? Just give you an example. She noticed esports is a big deal when she saw it on CNN or BBC. Then I'm like inside my room, and Alan, knock my door. Tuk, 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 like, what? Oh, there's esports now on the BBC, on CNN. Then your parenting is legit lah. What you're doing.
Yeah, and what are the big companies actually looking for when they look into an esports team per se?
You mean as in hiring or?
Investment and why they should
Okay.
collaborate.
Right. So it depends on the management behind it and also the potential, the track record of who their influencers are, how many followings do these talents have, etc. And also is the structure of the company. Are they taking care of the team well, Because esports is still a growing market, so there's no like right or wrong. Everyone is like learning as we go along as well. So it's about having the right fit of people and doing things right and doing the right thing. It's not so matured yet like traditional sports. You have everything set in stone. Everything is going with the flow right now. So of course, got to be careful of who you meet, etc. Just get to know more people, and eventually you get to filter out who's okay, that kind of thing.
Okay. Hey, okay, let's move on from esports. All right, and let's talk a little bit more about you. Allan, you come across as a very, very personable person and very positive. Are there certain key values that you hold very close to you that keep you going every day?
Uh-huh. For me, I feel what has taken me this far would be integrity. This is also something I learned from other senior mentors. I mean, like you can be so smart, you can make a lot of money for the company, but you know what? If you don't have integrity, that's a big issue.
Mm,
Integrity means you don't cheat the company, you don't try to do something that's bad or false, because you know what? It come and bite you in the butt. Maybe 1 year or 5 years from now, for example, or even 10 years. So you don't want to go through all that. So integrity is key and it's more valuable currency than money per se, because there's something money cannot buy. It means you
mm,
cannot buy you integrity. Even
right.
for example, give you X amount to do something bad, you won't do it. Yeah.
Yeah, you could buy someone else's integrity, lah. that's what that's what money is
Okay.
actually for.
Yeah. So I think integrity is key lah in this world and age, right?
Agreed.
Yeah. And now everything's on social media. Do something wrong, gone. Blow up.
Yeah, integrity, lah. They say it's doing the right thing even when nobody's looking.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And do you how about mental positivity and strength and all this, right? Do you have any kind of references that you draw to most of the time? Or have you any particular books or people that you follow?
His books are really interesting. His biography, he tells his hard school of like hard knocks, what he went through and how he overcome it and how he work around. Very interesting stories. So I recommend those kind of books as well, because even if they are rich, they go through rich kind of problems, with governments and competitors, etc.
Yeah.
So personally, yeah,
Sorry, what were the who are the authors that you would like to recommend?
I would like to recommend Richard Branson. Knows what they went through. Yeah, the journey is like an iceberg, you only see the top, you don't see what's happening at the bottom.
Very interesting. Okay, now thanks so much for that, and such candid sharing. I really appreciate telling us a little bit more about how you're transitioning. And um, during this entire period, right, would you say that your journey has been relatively smooth?
I wouldn't say smooth, man. I went through a lot of ups and downs, people questioning, hey, how come this guy don't have a degree? That kind of thing. It's normal. But as I go through it, I realized that I just need to carry myself well. I believe personal branding helps a lot. So I'm very active on social media, on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, etc. So I feel personal branding also brought me to where I am today. Yeah, that helped a lot.
Nice.
Yeah,
Personal branding, positivity, integrity. These are
yeah.
great things to pick up. Do you think that this applies to just entrepreneurs, or it should be done by everybody on a personal level?
I feel everybody, because you yourself are a personal brand. I mean, look, there's only one Edric Poon in the world, for example, right? And whoever's tuning in, there's only one of you. You cannot copy and paste, duplicate. Yeah, you might have a twin brother or twin sister, but you're still you. There's only one DNA. So you need to go out, make a difference, and be different from others. So if you're working in a big company, how you want to stand out? Personal branding helps a lot. If you're an entrepreneur, how does personal branding help? You can funnel your personal branding traffic into your company and share about your company's products or services.
Wow, suddenly I feel so much more special about myself. Thanks, Alan.
Okay,
Thank you.
welcome.
I'd shed a tear,
Uh,
but I'm not allowed to cry on camera. I'm media trained.
oh, okay.
Unless there's a crisis, then I'm supposed to cry. That's a bit different.
Also happened there's onions, a bunch of onions in front of your podcast
Oh,
setting.
next time I will.
I know.
I'll have a chopping board, and then next time we'll just be able to hear all the sounds. When we do this.
Uh,
Anyway, thanks so much for sharing. Now, before we end off the podcast, there's always this last segment that we do, which is called the EPIC Questionnaire. All right. I don't send you these questions because it's a rapid fire session for you to tell us a little bit more about yourself in the quickest time possible. All right. Are you ready?
okay,
All right. Let's go
all good.
with the EPIC Questionnaire. Allan Phang, one word that you love the most,
Love,
and one word that you dislike the most.
hate.
Hate, the opposite, huh? If you could have a conversation with one person, fictional, non-fictional, dead or alive, who would that be?
Um, just one person.
Yes. You can name a
Right.
few if you wanted to.
Okay. Elon Musk. Yep. Jeff Bezos. Yep, these two.
Why do you like rich people so much?
Because they went from Hard Knocks, definitely.
Like
Yeah.
Zero the Hero kind of thing, right?
Yeah, that's right. They all
Nice.
started somewhere.
All right. And what do you say to yourself in the morning every day?
Tell myself that I'm gonna have a blessed and good day and better than the previous day.
Great. Okay, now this is a very Southeast Asian thing. Favorite dish to eat?
Oh, I'm from Malaysia, so I'm biased a bit.
It's fine.
I like my char kway teow and bak kut teh.
Nice. Okay, look, we're not gonna fight about who made chicken rice and all that. It's nice to eat.
Okay,
That's
okay.
it. No need to fight.
Alright.
Good to eat can already.
Okay. Mm.
All right. Favorite travel spot? In Malaysia.
For me, that would be Langkawi, the island.
Nice. And what's your next travel spot anywhere in the world that you would like to go to once borders open up?
I think I need to go see my boss. That would be in Singapore. Don't have a choice.
Holiday lah.
Oh, holiday. Okay. Now you mentioned holiday. Oh, definitely. Maybe Japan. Like to go skiing up in the mountains.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Something in the arts that you'd always wanted to do, but never got about doing it.
I want to visit a Philharmonic Orchestra live. Always see in the movies and see on Facebook, but I haven't experienced it yet.
Right, but that's just as an audience. But let's say, for
After
example,
COVID
has
lah.
there been anything in you? Like, say, for example, I always wanted to try acting, for example, or I wanted to be a singer or something like that.
Oh yeah, I don't mind being a singer. I need to practice my tuning lah. I need to go for vocal classes first.
Vocal classes. Hey, get into shoutcasting. That's a start.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Should try that. It's pretty good. I hear that the money is not bad.
Yeah, your voice sounds good. You can be a shoutcaster. Yeah, I recommend.
Good. Allan Phang cares. What does retirement look like to you?
Wow, just chilling out every day without having to wake up thinking about work, and I guess serving the community.
And how do you want to be remembered? What is your legacy?
I want to be remembered as someone who is caring to the people around me and giving back to the next generation. I want to be remembered as someone who is caring and someone who gave back to the next generation in terms of my talents and time. Yep.
Nice. And okay, so that brings us to the end of the EPIC podcast, all right, for this week's episode with Allan Phang from EVOS Esports. Now, Allan, before we go, is there anything you want to say or a quick shout out to all those who are listening?
Yep. Stay strong, stay positive throughout these tough times, and we'll fly again just like everyone else once borders open up. Stay safe, everyone.
Yep. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us once again on the Epic Podcast. Follow EVOS Esports. Look up Allan on LinkedIn. And please comment, like, and subscribe. Do what you need to do. It's important to us. Allan Phang cares. Edric Poon cares. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Thanks, Edric and Epic Podcast for inviting.
Thank you
Bye.
so much. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.